we'll see how that all works. Now, I just remembered, I almost forgot something, but fuck it. This isn't going to be a short episode, so why not do it? Because we need it, right? We need it. And sometimes music is the thing that can bring us all together. No matter how we're feeling, good or bad, music can always just make us feel that much better. And I think we need this now more than ever. In 2013, there was a song written called Raise Your Glass, sung by the one and only Dina Deadly. When she wrote it, it was like Paul McCartney when he wrote Yesterday. It just came to her in a flash. These lyrics just poured out of her within 10 minutes. I'm making up all of these facts. But it did, folks, it did. And we're going to play that right now. And I want you to make a wish. I want you to dance like no one's watching. Or dance like people are watching, but they're freaky people and they don't care how you dance. And let's get on the same page. Let's get ourselves filled up. Here we go. Oh! Hercules. Woo!
Light up the sky, burn it up like a candle. When life gets harder, too hot to handle. All you need is love in the boombox to make this world rock and bump to the groove stops. We are young and we're free. Only thing that we need is a moment to be a little wrong. We want to ignite, burn a hole in the sky. You and I, we will be forever young. You know it's our time. These are the best days of our lives. Just raise your glasses high. This one's for you tonight. Fill 'em up, raise 'em up, get 'em up high. Give it up, raise it up to the sky. Just raise your glasses high. This one's for you tonight. Staying out late, living under the street lights. Working all night, we can sleep in our free time. Saving our breath till the time that we need it.
We're so
Want
close
it
to the
so
weekend.
hard, you
Don't
can
let
see
this
that
get
we
you
bleed
down.
it. We are young and we're free. Only thing that we need is a moment to be a little wrong. We would want to ignite, burn a hole in the sky. You and I, we will be forever young. It's our time. These are the best days of our lives. Just raise your glasses high. This one's for you tonight. Fill 'em up, raise 'em up, get 'em up high. Give it up, raise it up to the sky. Just raise your glasses high. This one's for you tonight.
Okay, so we open up on the beautiful valley, and we have this one of those TV show songs made just for the show, and it's like an upbeat number, even though we just saw the preview from last week of like, I'm gonna throw her off the fucking boat. And the song is, it was feeling like a bop when we walked up in the spot. Then, of course, I heard the bass line drop. Woo! And we're in some sort of nail salon with Michelle and her daughter Isabella doing some nails. And Michelle's like, did you see this picture of Daddy and Aaron being silly? And it's a picture of them, of Jesse on Aaron's lap, you know, and it looks really friendly. And Isabella sees this and is like, yeah! Daddy's silly. He's a disaster, and he's wearing my hat. And Isabella's like, oh, Daddy is silly. Oh. And then we get out of that, and it's that round robin where we like dip in and out of the cast members as we always see. And we're at Zach's apartment, and Zach's like, I am so tired. I still have not recovered from Hawaii. And Benji's like, I have laundry, and has like a laundry basket. And Zach's like, the one good thing about having a boyfriend is you get to do laundry together. And Benji's like, I'll do my stuff and you do yours. This is the most I feel like we've heard Benji talk this entire season. So it's like baby steps, right? So we get out of that, and then where do we land next? We are at a Sherman Oaks listing valued at $1.1 million. And we have Jasmine, who I think a lot of people are realizing is a realtor as well. Move over selling Sunset. We have selling the Valley. with Jasmine, and she's going over the listing of this house: 4-bedroom, 3-bath. In a talking head, she says, I definitely hope I can find Nia and Danny the house of their dreams. What? You're showing Danny and Nia the house of their dreams? Wait, just in this is where I was like, wait a sec, whoa. We just said the SA thing and all of this, and you're showing a house. I was so confused. Like, should we even be doing scenes? What is going on? Which we do talk about in this scene. Jasmine in a talking head says, after Hawaii, I just want to focus on Melissa, our future. And then we flash back to them talking where Melissa's saying, we have to pay double for everything. We have to pay for 2 rings, egg freezing for both of us. And Jasmine's like, that's why I want them to buy this house. So Jasmine's like, yo, I'm going to sell the house and take that money and we're going to use it for our greater good. Jasmine says, there's so many things I need to do for my baby, so hopefully I can show them the one so I can make some money. So if we're looking at season 3, will we be looking at a Jasmine or Melissa pregnancy? Is that a possible storyline? We see a Mercedes pull up into what looks like the tiniest driveway. I already knew. I was like, no, this is ridiculous. I could already hear Danny going, Santa Clarita, man, so much room, space. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? We've got 8 under 2. What are you talking about? Nia in the car's like, can't you see your children running around the tree? And Danny's like, what is this? This is tiny. In a talking head, Nia says, I have literally dragged Daniel to view this house. The square footage is small, but I think if it's designed right, it could be great. I mean, Gina's casita on OC feels like double the size of this house. Every shot of this looks like the backyard that Erica Jane, they always flash to in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with the sad pool. Anyways, Danny keeps going, it's tiny, tiny. And they're not even in the house yet. Danny can barely open up his door. He's like, I wish I had some space over here to open my door. And she keeps like Professor Positive. She's like, it's adorable. In a talking head, Danny's like, if we're going to have another baby, we want space. Okay, 4 under 4, as much as I like saying that, that's not common. And that is a lot. Which, I mean, you know, Danny and Nia, I feel like have sealed their fate in terms of reality television. Like, yeah, you are doing another season of reality television, point blank and period. You got a lot of mouths to feed. I mean, there is no, like, Danny, you are going, I mean, first off, clean up your behavior. But second off, the penance for making money is talking about your behavior year after year on reality television, right? And like, once again, I was just kind of like, this is so awkward because of where we left the boat scene last episode. But Nia's like all happy, like, hey, Jasmine. And they're hugging, and Danny hugs Jasmine. Is like, get Danny a house. LOL, JK. No, he doesn't say anything like that. We see the house. I mean, it's nicely decorated, but it is so small. And he's like, it did look cool, cute online. And then I realized the square footage, and I got a little nervous for Daniel, not him being happy about it. And Danny's like, it's smaller than our penthouse condo by like 800 feet. Yeah, why are we even over here except to do a scene? There is no believability in this encounter at all. But Jasmine goes, okay, yeah, I hear you at the 800 feet, but you can work with this. What kind of, I've never bought a house, what kind of realtor is like, I hear you, I know the one thing you wanted is space, I've ignored that completely, but I think you can work with it. Like, why? Why are we working with it? Anyways, Danny keeps going, open mind, all right. Open kitchen, open hearts, all right. And she's like, Jack and Jill rooms here for Asher and the twinsies. They can do this. And Danny looks, there's only one sink in the master. And Danny's like, what, are you kidding me? What? Can you imagine all the crap that Nia has beauty-wise? We can't do this. It's crazy. So I think Danny is thrilled. He's like, now you see what 1 million is going to get you in Sherman Oaks. For less than this, Nia, 20 minutes north, I can get a 4,200 square foot, 5-bed, 5-bath, massive backyard, just paradise, tons of pantry space for me to hide in. Nia in a talking head says, I'm kind of becoming more open to Santa Clarita. I truly don't want to like live there. I love when somebody's like, yeah, I'm coming around. The thing that's holding me back, I just don't want to live there. But she says she does want a bigger house, right? So this obviously is some fake scene to get to the meat of the scene, talking about the events of Hawaii, right? Which is also awkward to Danny and Nia to be bringing this up to Jasmine, who this involves in a way, right? And they're like, hey, how's your post-Hawaii hangover, Jasmine? And Jasmine's like, oh, it was oof. Everything just went left, so quick. And Nia's like, because I had a great combo with her, and like we were like in a really good place. And Danny's like, who? And she's like, you know who? And Jasmine's like, she can't even say the name. And she's like, yeah, she will not be named at this point. Talking to Nia goes, Janet, I don't even want to say her name. Maybe Voldemort of the Valley. Which I was like, why isn't this title the episode called Voldemort or the Valley? I mean, it's very catchy in a sense. Nia says she's just continuing to show her true colors, and I keep wanting to believe that she's better. But clearly, that's not the case. Nia in the scene goes, she doubles down on her lies and doesn't apologize. Now, Jasmine is shaking her head in agreement, but also that could just be the awkwardness of having somebody right in your face talking about this. But Nia goes, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. We cut out of that scene for now. And where do we land next? Uh-oh. I believe this is, we're at Scheana's place, and Janet has her little baby stroller going into Scheana's domicile. And I love, we see Scheana in the backyard, and it says Scheana, Janet's friend. Put some respect on that Chiron. Scheana, founder of Vanderpump Rules. Summer Moon is doing her swimming. Janet's baby, they're out of the stroller, and then Michelle comes in the house as well. So this is between these three ladies, right? Everybody's hugging. I like that Summer Moon is swimming with a swim instructor. I just love that the swim instructor. I don't know why. I just love the background characters of these shows. Like, I need to interview the swim instructor. But Janet says, I feel like I need a vacation after that vacation. And Scheana looks like lit from within. She's like, yeah. And Michelle's like, I don't want to talk to anybody for a week. I need my alone time. And Janet goes, it was honestly a shit show. And we flash back to Hawaii. And Doute is screaming, own your fucking words, bitch. I'm Kristen fucking Doute. And Janet going, oh my God, oh my God. And Doute's like, don't fucking use their names, Danny and Nia. Janet in this scene goes, the trip ended with her saying she's going to beat my ass. So she brought Danny and Nia's name up and said something about how like Jason and I were attacking Danny. Yes, I have talked about the things he's done, but I'm not making up false rumors about him. They have a shot of Scheana, and Scheana looks like, it's like when I realize I've sharted, like, ugh. Like, Scheana was under the impression this scene was about children swimming in the pool. She's like, wait, what? I thought we were just going to get some B-roll footage of the kids in the pool. What's going on? And then Michelle goes, that's not Kristen's problem or responsibility. She's not with Danny. And just because you really like a person doesn't make it okay. And Janet's like, she's going hard for them. I don't get it. And then Scheana jumps in with, that's what Kristen does. She latches on to say the popular girl, and she doesn't care who she, steps on to get there. She does not care, which obviously there's a little bit of non-self-reflection in this. Some people I saw online saying, well, that's what Scheana does as well. Also, I think Scheana is referring to the Doute of the Vanderpump Rules era. And what I do like about the Valley is we don't see growth from Jax, but I believe we've seen growth from Doute, right? Anyways, Janet goes, yeah, that's what I feel. With Nia and Daniel, I don't really know where to go, to be honest. It sucks that all this stuff happened, but if Daniel's still drinking, I don't necessarily want to be super close. Now, good thing for Janet, I have a feeling Danny and Nia do not want to be super close with Janet as well. So I think we're all in agreement on this, but that's hard for a reality show, right? Scheana's like, well, how are you now with them after you said that about him? We're great. We're real good, real tight. A lot of good conversations happening. No, Janet says, haven't talked to him since. Now we cut back to the tiny home that Jasmine is showing them. And he is like, obviously, we aren't feeling any kind of good vibes from the one that shall not be named, but her husband, like, how are you and Jason? And Danny's like, yeah, I mean, that's what sucks the most. I've never wanted to, like, get off Maui so bad.
It is your pal Ryan once again to talk about the amazingness that is Quince. Listen, as you know, I'm not into chasing trends, but I am all about stuff, and especially as I'm on my health journey, that fits right, feels good, makes you look great, and it actually lasts. And that is why I keep coming back to Quince. I have used them now for over 4 years. Their lightweight layers, their high quality staples have become my everyday essentials. Look at the, if you're watching this right now, look at it. This is a lightweight, breathable, beautiful navy sports jacket that I'm able to fit in again. And it has lasted for 4 years and it is beautiful. Quince has the kind of stuff you'll actually wear on repeat, like breathable flow knit polos, crisp cotton shirts, and comfortable lightweight pants that somehow work for both weekend hangs and dressed up dinners. And the best part, everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. Go to their website, you will see. They do this by working directly with top artisans and cutting out that middleman. Quince gives you luxury pieces without the markups. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I use this. You need to be using this too. You go to the website right now, quince.com, and you are going to be walked through men's clothing, women's clothing, baby and kids, gifting. Everything that you need is right there for your choosing. So, stick to the staples that last with elevated essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/so bad for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/so bad to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/so bad. And I'm on the website right now. I'm literally going to buy something right after I finish. Okay, bye.
And Jasmine's like, I know, me and Melissa were done. And he's like, yeah, just so done. It was so malicious and toxic. Words that we only use to describe Jax. Jasmine in a talking head says, Janet, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but it's making things worse. Because now you're bringing up more feelings that I have to relive again. And I don't think she understands it's a sensitive subject for me and Melissa. And we flash back to Melissa on the boat from last episode going, can you all please stop talking about me and Jasmine? Jasmine says, we are trying to move forward in this situation. I should be the person talking about that. Yes, obviously. And also, even though I think Janet is saying I'm doing this under the guise of helping Jasmine, and I do think there is a piece of that there, in that moment, she was going against Kristen. I mean, these two, Danny was the middleman in this fight that has been happening for 2 seasons on the Valley. Now, it is completely horrific what Danny has done to Jasmine. And, we've seen him apologize 3 or 4 times. We have brought up this second situation that we don't have all of the information on regarding Danny. But yeah, there seems to be an issue. Jasmine says, well, with issues that she has with people, Janet, he's always like the innocent one in referring to Jason, her husband. And it kind of sucks that he's just, it's his wife. I get it. And Danny goes, have talks with her, be like, do you know what you're doing? I'm losing friends because of the things that you're saying. Now, Danny doesn't realize that I think Jason is firmly in Janet's camp and firmly believes that Danny has done wrong. I don't think I don't think Jason, speculating that he feels he is being led astray. He feels, but obviously we get into that gray area of like, okay, where were you on Jax? Where were you with this one? How do you feel this way about this, but not with Jax? I mean, that's the insanity of humanity, right? Danny in the talking head goes, right now, I do feel like I've lost Jason as a friend, and that does hurt. There's been no reaching out, no remorse, no apology. Which means that he is very resolute in how he feels about Danny. But Danny goes, Janet's done this to everybody. And then Jasmine goes, poor Jason, I feel so bad for him. And he's like, yeah, he's sweet. And Danny's like, I do too, man. I love him. And Danny's like, I just feel bad for who he's married to. So obviously things are not going to be better between these two couples at all. Obviously, we'll see this play out next week on the finale, and then, of course, in the reunion. Now, that's another thing we have to talk about in terms of the reunion. I say this every week. The reunion was filmed a long time ago, so we will get nothing about the Jax Taylor situation. And then part of me today was like, oh, maybe they'll do like a special 15-minute sit down with Andy and Jax that will be filmed in the next couple of weeks. But I don't think they will do that because I don't think they want to platform him at all anymore in this moment. So I would be very shocked. Like I'm thinking about in previous interviews with Luann after her arrest where, Andy has done a sit down, but I do not think Jax deserves that at this moment, nor would they do that, right? Anyways, they're laughing. They're like, Voldemort, great, Nia, great. We go to our first commercial. We come back. We hear another horrible song. Let's get down to business. Put your ego on the hit list. Woo, it was nice to leave ya. Wish I'd never seen ya. And we're over at Luke and Kristen's, and I love that Luke has one of those TV dinner trays, and they're eating chicken. I mean, this is just, I see so much of myself in them, and just the fact that I eat a dinner plate on a couch. And their two dogs are begging, and Luke's like, they're begging because you feed them chicken in the kitchen. You taught them to beg, babe. Which is that's going to be a huge storyline next season for Doute. It's like, you taught these dogs to beg. So anyways, they're just having normal relationship, dogs are begging for food conversations, right? So then Doute goes, any whoosies. I mean, great doctor's appointment today. Real solid stuff. And she says, I had a feeling it was going to go that way. We don't know which way it went yet. And Doute goes, so it's on me. And I'm like, oh no. And she goes, in my body and my old age. And we go back to 3 hours earlier where the doctor is going over the results of his sperm. And he says, your sperm, the lady's like, it was 13% normal. And typically we want it at 14%, right? And typically, and they're like, oh, okay. So Luke doesn't necessarily have Kyle Cook from Summer House's super sperm that he told us about this season. Doute says this next month is going to be a lot of tests, stuff I've done and stuff I haven't done. There's 2 medications. There's the uncomfy fallopian tube test, and then I'll do another ultrasound or 2. Now, when Doute is saying this, they do a tight shot of the chicken that Luke's eating, and I'm like, what? Why? Why are we doing a tight shot of the chicken? What are we saying with the tight shot of the chicken while we're talking about fallopian tubes? What is going on here? I will say also, did you notice how this week's episode also really highlighted issues that women specifically go through in regards to procreating and their bodies? And I thought that was so interesting between Nia and Doute's storyline. I thought that was so real, right? Anyways, Doute's just like, I get so stressed out about being stressed out about all this crazy testing. Doute in a talking head says, I had no idea that it would be this difficult to conceive. He has healthy swimmers. And a year ago, everything looked good for me. This should just happen. Luke in the scene goes, if we were to find out that for whatever reason, it's not going to happen, would you be willing to adopt Ryan Bailey from So Bad It's Good? No, he said, would you be willing to work with me like having a surrogate with my sperm? Thinking outside the box here, folks. Season 3, they do the obviously they have a baby, so everything's good right now. But what if they didn't, and we did a surrogate, and season 3 is the only person that can carry the baby is Janet, and then it pulls them together and it forms a friendship because Janet is in my storyline the only person that could potentially carry this baby. That's just, anyways. But he's trying to hey, would you be open to this? And Doute's like, yeah, if that's what we want. And then he's like, or even adoption. And she goes, I'm not opposed to anything. And he's like, I know. And this isn't a contentious fight at all. This is a conversation that these two people in love are having about their future. And I think what makes this really nice to watch, them talking about something so serious, knowing the outcome is good. But she says it's terrifying to think that what if this doesn't work out naturally for us? I mean, I feel lucky that there are all of these options, but what if these options don't work? So we're back in the scene, and Doute seems a little despondent, but putting a smile on her face, and Luke's smiling back at her, and she pulls out, kind of shows him the ring, and she goes, it's very special. And he goes, it is very special. It's a Kyle Chan original, folks. But he says, I love looking at it on your hand, and I love looking at it on your hand when your hand is on my privates. No, that's not, I just trying to make myself laugh. But he says, you're my forever, honey. I love Luke's little corny things. Like, do you want to be the catch of my lifetime? Are you my forever, honey? Are you my speckle of rose petals, baby? But he says, hey, we already have our little family with fur babies, and we're going to have our, say I'm your forever for now. I'd make a good first husband. Is that what you said? And Doute goes, ooh, I know that's really funny when other people say it, but it's not funny when we say it. I don't know. I really, I think these guys are in it for the long haul, right? But Luke goes, one and only, baby. One and only. And you know what? Luke says it, and if I do it, it sounds creepy, but when he does it, there's no actor on it, like one and only, baby. He says it in this kind of awkward way, and that, when people say things in an awkward way, it's like they really mean it. They're not performing it. It really comes from them. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyways, as this is happening, we see a strange man outside of their garage holding a big orchid plant, and then we're like, oh my God, it's Jax Taylor. Watch out, folks. He looks like he's stalking this front door, and he knocks, knock, 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 and Luke opens the door. The dogs are barking because they sense some sort of evil presence. And he's like, hey, how are you, Luke? What's going on? I come with flowers. He probably took the flowers that Schwartz gave him as a housewarming gift. It was like, I'll just bring these. Or just went into Schwartz's apartment and took 2 of his orchids. Anyways, he's like, I love it. Hey. Because he's looking at the couch, and it's a Lovesac couch, like the one that he said he spent $20,000 on. Now, I went to the Lovesac website, and they're expensive, but they're like $4,500, $6,000. So I don't know how Jack's got a $20,000. And the fact that Doute has a Lovesac couch then leads me to believe that this is some sort of PR gift of some way, right? So anyways, they're bonding over the Lovesac couches. Jax hugs Doute. Luke goes, lovely, in regards to the flowers. And Jackson's like, you don't have any orchids, do you? You don't have any orchids, huh? And Doute goes, I've never kept an orchid alive. And then Luke goes, oh, you have me now. I think Luke is just Professor Positive. Jax sits down, and he's being kind, gentle Jax. He's like, so congratulations. And she's like, thank you. I'm very happy that I didn't ruin it. Because remember, he sent that into the boys chat. He shouldn't have known because Brittany told him. And he goes, I apologize for that first off and foremost. And we flash back to Hawaii when Jax texts congrats to Doute. And she's like, what? How does Jax know? I just want to know who told Jax. Like, I literally haven't even texted my mom. In the scene, Jax goes, Brittany and I were finally talking, for the 5 minutes that we were allowed to talk. And she was being nice. I love the setup of this. Brittany's a bitch most of the time, right? Well, finally, she was nice. You hear me. And then 2 minutes later, she's like, how'd you find out? I'm like, fuck. She starts yelling at me under the bridge. She's going to yell at me, right? He says she threw me under the bridge, and Doute's like, under the bus. And Jax doesn't seem to understand what he's under the bus, huh? And he goes, so I don't want to blame her. I didn't want to say that she's the one that told me, even though she has a big fucking loud mouth, right? That's the truth. Doute goes, don't want to throw her under a bridge, but you also don't want to throw her under the bus. And he goes, yeah, under the bus or the bridge. Yeah, in fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I'd like to throw her off a building, huh? And he goes, I'm sorry, that was just dumb. I've been going crazy, man. And Doute kind of inhales like, here we go. And he's like, I haven't seen my son in days. And we flash back to Jax and his son Cruz in the pool. Very cute. And Doute goes, you just have to practice patience, Jax, and it's hard. I'm not a patient human, and Luke knows that. But, and Jax is like, not being able to go to bed with your son every night. That's tough to do. I have to settle for a lot of these whores, a lot of hoes to go to bed with because I can't go to bed with Cruz. And Doute's like, maybe that's where you start. He's like, I just want Cruz to come sleep over, right? Do you want to come drop him off, Brittany? And Luke goes, here's the things I'm willing to show so we can get there. I think that's something that's reasonable, something that she could hear instead of just going back and forth, Jax is taking all of this in, and there's a part of me that thinks he's not listening at all. Luke says, would you be willing to give her access to like a camera in his room, And he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'd put some lasers in there. Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. And I love that idea. Yeah. In a talking head, he goes, I'm trying to get on a plan here for being a parent to Cruz. What are we going to do here? What do you expect from me? My goal is for us to be good co-parents. That's it. Simple. I've made it completely simple. I'm not the one holding things up here, right? I'm doing the work. I have been doing the work for the last 13 years. He tells them that's my main priority. I don't give a shit about me. It's not about us anymore. It's not about her. It's about him having a good life and with good parents. He always knows the right thing to say. But then in the same scene, usually he'll completely undercut all of the right things that he said, which leads you to believe that he doesn't believe in any of the bullshit that he said that everybody liked, right? We go to our second commercial. Big Isabella episode. We're at a toy store now with Jesse and Isabella, his daughter, and Jesse's like, we are at the toy store. Look at this one. And Isabella's like, oh, it's like a toy sword. And she's like, my sword, Dad. You hit me in the face with the sword. I'm going to hit you 30 times, punk. We get out of that. I love that Isabella's had 2 little scenes so far. Anyways, we're over at Danny and Nia's, and they're with all the kids in the kitchen. And he's like, where's my little wolf cub? And their little cute little son. He's like, ooh. And Danny's like, yeah, let's do it together. All right. Ready? 1, 2. Hoo. Let's make sure this kid never gets in the boys' chat. And then Danny's like, come on, Mama Wolf Cub, you join in. And then Nia's also like, how? And it's so cute. This is what I talk about, like humanizing after a very dark episode. We go out of that and we then land at Valley Glen Community Park, and we were at Kristen and Luke's house. I guess the park is near there. And we see a bunch of cameras, and they are filming a hardcore porn. They are doing a photo shoot for James May, which is Doute's t-shirt and clothing apparel company that's been around forever, right? And in fact, James May, they have the engagement shirt, the Kristen and Luke engagement shirt that I can't seem to wrap my head around spending $35 for it, but I've spent so much money on such stupid things that why don't I just pull the trigger? Anyways, that's not your problem. Anyways, Brittany's there as one of the models. Zach's there, and Brittany's like, what's the plan, Miss Boss Lady? Woo, shorts. Can I get a short so I can loosen up in front of the camera? And Doute goes, as soon as she's done, you're going to go into makeup. She's like, I'll go in the chair in like 10 minutes. Okay. In a talking head, Brittany's like, I'm not a model, but I love doing stuff like this. I've done James May photo shoots with her in the past. It was just me and Jax. Now it was just me doing shorts. Benji's on his phone in the corner. There's a glass that breaks. Party foul at the James May photo shoots. Anyways, it's a crazy scene. This is what modeling is all about. Zach's like, where is Brittany? And we see that Brittany's getting her makeup done. And Zach is talking to Brittany now. And Zach's like, wait, are you staying at your actual house right now? And Brittany's like, yeah, I'm back. It's mine now. And Zach's like, Jax is fully moved out? Oh, yeah. It's only, I'm going to do solo shots. He keeps calling me over and over, Zach. And we see that the phone is chiming. It's like Jax is chiming. And Brittany's like, oh, hell no. He's trying to get my ring verification code. No, you're not getting my ring. No. And Zach has this reaction like, zoinks. Oh. And then the phone rings and she puts it on speakerphone. And Brittany's like, hey, are you talking about the ring verification code? Where you what? And Jack's like, yeah, I'm installing a new ring right now. And Brittany's face is like, what? Oh? And they said there's a password that they sent to your phone. And Brittany's like, okay, well, if I let you have this code, then you're going to have my ring. No, I have my own ring. They're installing it right now. No, because then you're going to have access to my Jax. I'm not dumb. I'm the one who knows. And then he's like, I'm right here, Brittany. I'm right fucking here. Oh, they're doing it right now. And Zach's like, hang up. And she goes, all right, boy. In a talking head, Brittany goes, he won't leave me alone. I'm definitely trying my hardest to move on. And then he constantly is like hovering over me. He doesn't want me to be happy and model for James May. So this is all just a Jax Taylorism. I just got jaxed. You know. But Brittany is the happiest person that is being stalked of all time. She's like, it's a Jax Taylorism. To like get into my shit. And it's not happening. Not on Brittany's watch. Not on. Wild. I mean, Brittany's ability to put on a positive face and a smile through all of this, I mean, I could never. Anyways, now Brittany is getting set up to model the shirt, and she's like, Zach, get over here. I need help with my hands. Where to put them, right? And we see these photos, and Brittany looks great in the photos. Doute's like, that skirt is so cool. And Zach's like, okay, supermodel. That's why Jax is setting those Ring cameras up. It's like, it's like an OnlyFans thing. He's like, hey, I got full access to this beautiful lady that modeled in James May. But I love Brittany modeling. She's got her poses and her little faces. She knows her angles. Anyways, the photographer's like, oh, behave. All right, give it to me. So they're wrapped, which seems like just a minute. And she's like, all right, let's do shorts. Absolutely amazing. And Doute's like, you come in, you get full glam, you do 5 minutes of shooting, you're done. And she's like, oh, sorry I had to be so fast. Well, I got like 5 minutes. I'm so sorry to be so rushed. And Doute's like, no, you're fine, but you got really pretty full glam. And Brittany's like, yeah, remember how hot I am? And then Brittany goes, Hawaii was awesome. Hawaii was awesome. And Zach's like, so awesome. And Brittany's like, I know the last night was like terrible, obviously. And Zach's like, I thought it was great. And Kristen's like, yeah, I wanted to throw Janet off the boat. She's just such a hateful human being. And you can tell Brittany's like, ugh, here we go. Doute's like, I don't have space for that. I am not holding space. I'm like Wicked. I am not holding space for that. And when she said that essay thing, I was like, now I'm really fucking done. And Zach's like talking over Doute. He's like, we both got up and we were like, fuck you. Brittany was like, well, I mean, whenever I had a conversation with Danny, I was even like, thank you for taking responsibility for what you did those nights, because it was kind of crazy. He did apologize. And so I was like, we should move on from that. I always know not to do shots with Danny, And Doute's like, yeah, and Jasmine and Melissa feel the same way. So Janet, shut the fuck up. So Brittany says all this stuff to get her off. And he's like, yeah, Jasmine and Melissa also want Janet to shut the fuck up. And then Brittany goes, what time is it? I'm going to go. I have to leave. And in talking to Brittany goes, I did not want to be in this conversation right now. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells constantly, carrying a flask around me, you shorts. Anyway, she says, I love you, bye. So we get out of that scene, and then we see the 170 North Freeway for some reason, and we wind up with Jesse Lally. We have a scene with Jesse Lally looking large and in charge, and he's over at Jax's condo. We see a bunch of shit outside of Jax's door. It seems like, I don't know when this was filmed as opposed to when he's moving in, but it seems it's a work in progress, just like Jax. There's stuff everywhere. And Jesse's like, yo, Jax, Jesse Lally is here. What's up? I'm a little sweaty, Jesse. How are you? I miss our men's group. You've never been here yet. I have not been here yet. Lots of stairs. Townhouse, yes. And we see two men trudging up the stairs, which I thought was very deep and metaphorical. And Jesse sees all the shit everywhere. Like, there's just shit. He's like, yes, you are moving in. There's a bedroom here, Jesse, and then you go upstairs. Balcony, you want to see it? Yes, let's take a look at the balcony. Bathroom's in there. This is the bitch, though. Fucking stairs, Jesse. And we hear Jax, like, huff and puff up the stairs. Each step. Brittany did this to me. Jesse's like, no elevator? No elevator. I blame Brittany on that. But he goes, lots of storage. Lots of storage. Keep a lot of my skeletons up here. And then they go outside. I will say I love the upstairs outside patio area. And then he's like, Schwartz is right next door, Jesse. Basically like your roommate, Jax. Don't say that, Jesse. How are you feeling, Jax? It's rough, Jesse. I found out she was dating somebody. Found out on the Ring video camera. We flash back to earlier in the season when Doute's asking Brittany about her date after the beach. How was your date after the beach? And Brittany's like, woohoo! It was great! Woo! I've just been hanging out with this new guy, and I really like him. Jax in the scene goes, I don't know how she's getting over it so fast. I just don't know how she's moving on so quickly with another man. Like, did you feel that? Like when I'm like, fuck. Two men that have, like, Jax, I mean, two men that have fucked around on both of their women. Like, how could you do it so fast? I mean, I can do it fast, but I'm a man. How can a woman do it so fast? It's gross. Jesse goes, let me impart some wisdom on you, Jax. That's the thing. Like, you almost have to commit to the closure and to be over the person. And like being over Brittany the way I was over Michelle, you're still able to make their life a living hell, but you act like you're over it. And then he goes, oh, fuck my life. Oh, justice for Jax. I'm emotionally all over the place. I have severe highs and severe lows. My son is just killing me with my kid. Like, it'd be a lot easier if there's no baby involved. There's a pause, and then Jesse's like, what's the plan with Cruz? And he's like, who's Cruz? Oh, yeah, my son, yep. Fuck. I'm texting her. Can we put a plan together, Jesse? I'm organizing my house today. Maybe tomorrow or something like that. I can come by, maybe go for a swim, use your facilities. And then Talking Head goes, I don't have a say in a lot of things right now. The mother kinds of runs the show. I've been talking to my friend Kanye West about this. Not good. It's just really hard being able to only see your kid when she says. The person that actually bore this child, why would she have any rights, especially after the behavior I've exhibited? I could go to the bar right now and get shit-faced, but they're making me pay for my drinks now at Jackson's Saloon. No, he goes, you know, that devil on my shoulder is real loud right now. The devil on his shoulder is legitimately just Jack sitting on this couch. The devil's like, fuck it, let's go drink on this. But I think I'm gonna do the opposite. Just gonna do cocaine. No, he goes, work on my condo, go to the gym, masturbate. And Jesse's like, tell you what, right now, if you go out and you get drunk, everybody's going to be expecting you to do that. And it's just not going to be healthy for anybody. And it's certainly not going to get you any closer to seeing your son unless you have some sort of delusional break. No, but I mean, hey, listen, a broken clock is right twice a day, right? Jesse Lally giving good advice to Jax Taylor. We do have to be honest about that. Jax is like, I can be sad, you know? Yes, as long as that sadness doesn't trigger you into aggression and anger, drinking and partying. And Jax is like, no, I'm not going to do that. Where are you right now in your fucking divorce, Jesse? I love that Jax is like, fine, I guess I got to ask you about you now. Jesse's like, we have an interesting situation where Michelle spoke to a friend of hers who's an attorney. And he looked through the documents, and it looks like she may not have filed. So what's that mean? Well, it could mean that we start over. And Jax has his face like, oh my God, women. Oh, am I right, women? Funny enough, though, remember when Jax tried to fill out his divorce paperwork, he did it completely wrong, which will not be covered on this season. So the fact that Jax is like, oh, women. He's like, what? Jesse's like, yes. And it's talking to Jesse goes, Ukraine and Russia have a better relationship than Michelle and I. I like that Jesse's getting political. Ukraine and Russia. Zelensky and Putin. I've always called Michelle Putin, right? Michelle keeps saying Jesse always has to win. So Michelle's trying to win. And in the end, we're going to both lose. And the biggest loser is going to be Isabella. What are you using my name for, Dad? Because it is a goddamn battlefield right now. Jesse tells Jax, one of the things that I have been dealing with this summer, this brat summer, aside from like Michelle's boyfriend and Michelle moving out, and then like finding our financial assets frozen, and Jax is like literally feeling his face like he's feeling if the Botox is like still in his like or filler or whatever. He's feeling his face. I don't even know if he's necessarily listening. And then he's like, financial assets frozen? Is that a daiquiri? What is that? And we flash back to the scene with Scheana, Janet, and Michelle. And Sheena's like, how's the divorce and stuff going? Michelle takes like 2 minutes to answer. He goes, I just want him to be reasonable. He's a disaster. He's on the side. Got a $300,000 loan under his name. Put it in his personal account. In a talking head, she says, as his wife, I'm supposed to be responsible for half of that, and I'm refusing to pay right now. I'm not the one who's in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debts. Guys, that's fucked up. No matter how charming Jesse Lally and well-dressed this man is, that's fucked up. He got a personal loan, put it in his account, didn't tell Michelle, and now Michelle's responsible for half. Think about that. Fucked up. Scheana goes, it's just so frustrating that you have to like go through all of that. Summer Moon's in this scene too, and she's like, Put the camera directly on me. I'm a star, and you know it. Back in the scene, Jesse goes, once you've been served, I can't make any changes to our financial situation, Jack. So it's like I'm paying all this stuff. The real estate market is just spiraling downwards right now. I took Isabella to a toy store earlier. It's all a lot of money. I'm at rock bottom right now. What else could go wrong? And Jackson's like, we're both going through the same shit, man. Should we put our hands on each other's chests like we did in that men's group? It's an avalanche of shit storms. This is like right up there with death. You know what else is right up there with death? Death. He goes, I haven't felt like this since my dad died. Ugh. Always a fun time on the Valley. So now we're with Danny and Nia, and they are visiting a doctor. And Nia is talking about her body and not feeling comfortable with it. And she's like, are we going to have another child? Or if we are done and our family is just perfect with 3, she wants to get 100% wants to get a mommy makeover. And so this is wild. They put her in the doctor's room. And, this is really insanely brave to not only talk about this, but to show this. Obviously, they blur out, the nipples, but she disrobes on camera, right? With this Dr. Hovsapian. She says, being a former Miss USA, it's always in my head. And we see pictures of Nia in the past in a bikini on stage with the Miss USA sash on. And she says, people feel like there's a right to judge you. A lot of who I am kind of revolves around if I'm fit or not. I want to love what I'm seeing. So that is very interesting, talking about that concept mentally of, your body being your calling card in that kind of pageant profession. But it is wild of people commenting on what they see, where the same thing with reality TV, but they're not even just commenting on what they see. They're commenting on what's inside, which is sometimes even darker. But she's just saying, I don't love what I see in the mirror right now. So the doctor comes in and, he does kind of the consultation and the exam, and he's like, what areas are bothersome? And she says, my number one focus would be my breasts. They used to be beautiful and perky and great, and now I feel like they're down to my belly button. I am there right now. And she says, my next concern is kind of my stomach. And so he asks if it's okay. By the way, the doctor's like, so would it be okay if I examine you? And Danny's right there. And I was like, Danny, this is called consent. So he asked, may I touch? And he's examining the boob. And he's like, we can see the location of the nipple is below the fold. And I guess guys, I'm such an idiot. I'm like, the fold, I'm about to mansplain the boob fold, you guys. But he says, if we were to consider any form of surgery with or without an implant, a lift would be required. And then they have a shot of Danny, with his hand on his chin, interesting, he's all he's thinking about is Santa Clarita. But he said there's multiple ways of performing a lift. One is just around the areola to reduce the size, and that is just bringing it up about 1 centimeter. Unfortunately, that is for a little bit of a perkier breast. And Nia's like, I don't have that. Then we have the more extreme situation, where you're kind of at that cusp already, he says. She says in a talking head, it's a whole other level of almost like intensity to have the doctor confirming my insecurities, to have the doctor say, I see them and maybe try to tell myself, oh, and maybe it's not that bad. And then the doctor is like, no, this and that, and yep, that too. The doctor says, any questions that arise, we're always available. And then they're like, hey, can we talk to you about Janet for a second? Voldemort? No, they don't say that. Anyways, the doctor leaves, and Danny says, how you feeling? And she's like, well, he said I'm right on the verge of extreme. Yeah. And that is kind of a lot to process. So where it's not like, oh, we can just do a little something. No, you kind of have extreme damage. I really thought my boobs would bounce back. And I try not to even look at myself in the mirror that often, because I know that what they used to be my whole life and where they're at now. And she's tearing. And by the way, I don't think I'm doing justice to this, this scene, because I did actually get sucked up into it, and I thought it was emotional. And Danny's like, we just got to figure out what we want to do with having a fourth. The fact that they're still even, wow. And they, by the way, spoiler alert, they have a fourth now. But he says it's just kind of insane what your body goes through. But then he goes, look, I'm just so proud of you. My number one goal is to see you happy. This is why we got to keep Danny off any sort of booze, because he genuinely seems like that he loves Nia, right? And I don't know, but I love you so much. And then she's like, should I get clothes back on now? And then Danny's like, I was thinking since you're already pretty unclothed, you could lock me at the knees. All right. It's so weird. And then they do have sex in this doctor's room. It's so uncomfortable to watch. No, we get out of that scene. And then I pray we're not at a Jack scene. Where are we? We are at a tattoo parlor. And who is this scene with? It is with Janet and Jason. And by the way, somebody made a Voldemort image. I think somebody on Twitter. And Janet took that image and made it her Instagram profile pic. So Janet saying, hey, I'm laughing too, right? But they're talking about being nervous. So I'm like, what are we getting at a tattoo? What's happening at this tattoo parlor in the Valley? So what they're doing today, Jason says to the tattoo guy, basically, I just want a tattoo that goes under my wedding ring that's covered by my ring when I'm not wearing it, because there's been a lot of rumors. And the tattoo guy's like, yeah, I've heard the root. No, none of the like. But he says, when my ring's off, it's like a line. And Janet says, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I love that Doute has bullied them into getting tattoos. Janet says in a talking head, Jason and I have, talked about this ring rumor often. I think I made a joke to Jason like, well, you should just get your ring tattooed on and then nobody will have to say anything ever. It'll just always be there. I love Janet said I presented it as a joke. And Jason's like, I never heard that joke. That was a serious demand. No, but he says we were joking about it. And so he decided to do it, right? But I love that Janet seems to be really worried about Jason, like he's going to pass out. And if you look at Jason legitimately seems nervous. But Janet says, this will be my 4th tattoo. And I've always wanted Jason to get a tattoo. So if this is what has to happen to get him in the chair, all right. Okay, so it's worth it this season of the Valley for Janet. I love that Janet's other tattoos are like, Scheana. Anyways, he's getting like the markup on his ring where the tattoo will go. And Jason's not even looking directly at the tattoo. He like genuinely seems scared. He's like, let's go. He's like tearing up a little bit. And the tattoo goes, are you ready? He's like, yeah, just go. Do it, man. Do it. Oh, ow, it tickles. Kelly Clarkson. He looks like he's about to pass out. He's like, fa. And Janet's like, I've never heard you say the F word before. And Janet's laughing, and Jason's laughing, and I'm laughing. Now, I will say, Janet laughs, and from this angle, you can't see what her teeth, I can't tell if a tooth is missing or it's like just the lighting. Jason in a talking head says, I'm sweating badly. My body is my temple over here. Oh, God, I sweat badly, and my body's nowhere near a temple. But he's like, my body is my temple, and I'm putting graffiti on it. I love that. My body is my temple. Your body's your temple, and you're doing the Valley, man. You can get any tattoo at this point you want. But anyways, they're done. He's like, Jason's like, hell yeah. I'm a man. I'm a macho man. A real man. And then in a talking head, Jason goes, I was already a man before tattoos. Tattoo doesn't make you a man, but it makes you like maybe a bad man, Uh-oh, what if this tattoo opens up the realm of dark Jason Caperna? He's like, I'm a bad boy. Bad to the Jason Caperna. But he's like, maybe I'm a little bit more of a rough guy. Now, Janet gets in the chair. And this is like nothing for Janet. She's like, harder. Do it. Yeah. Get it everywhere. So now they have these like rings around their ring. So, Jason says in a talking head, Janet and I are getting this tattoo so that she can rest assured whenever I'm out, I'll 100% have a ring on my finger. Even if it's not the actual gold ring, it's the tattooed ring. So why wouldn't he? Even if I've misplaced the gold ring, I have the tattoo ring. Janet in the scene goes, this is like a fun thing to make it the best of everything. I don't know. You were always really good at that. So this is a sweet moment between them, the softer side of the Capernas. Jason says, this ring's rumor has gone full circle, and it's actually strengthened our relationship. Stay away, ladies. And he holds up his hand as he's giggling. Janet says, you're so great that sometimes I do wonder if I deserve you and deserve our son and our life and everything we have. And Jason's tearing up and she's like, what did I ever do to deserve this? The tattoo guy's like, this is awkward. I got to get out of here. But Jason goes, looking at her directly in the eye, goes, life's been good to us. We've been pretty blessed lately. So I'm always ready for, oh man, I'm going to wake up and something bad's going to happen, right? And I think it's natural to feel that way. In a talking head, she says, I've said a million times, I'm like, something must be wrong with Jason that he's with me. And I hope he doesn't ever wake up and say, like, I see what everybody else sees. And she's tearing up as she says that. Scheana says, I read, I turned off my comments now, but like for a while, like the comments were flooded. Why is he with her? Comment I see often is like, wow, he's so great. And she's like a monster. The insults Kristen's used towards me recently have been things that I see in the comments. And we flash back to Doute's scene with Brittany in Hawaii going, okay, she's coming to the group how? And Brittany's like, Scheana, as a fan. Janice says it's like clear she's reading this stuff and then using it against me to hurt me. So now she's accusing Janet of plagiarizing Instagram comments. But we see some of the comments pop up on screen. Janet adds nothing. She is unlikable. Janet is not likable and has condescending and snobbish vibes. Janet stalked the cast to get on TV. Janet is desperate and trying too hard. Who is Janet? I'm here for Brittany, Jackson, Kristen. But that you can just throw. You're there for Brittany, Jackson, Jax. And then we flashed to Kristen last week going, you're a fucking fan, bitch. That's all you will ever be. Back in this scene, Jenna goes, and now there will forever be people who are like, those people who are like, why is he with her, will now be like, oh, that's because he cheats on her. Doute in a flashback saying, Jason's in no space to be judging anyone's relationship. Keep your wedding ring on all the time, and then you can start talking. Back in this scene, Jenna says, even as like silly as this tattoo is, I want it to be like us against the world. Jason says, when you see a negative comment about yourself online, it hurts no matter what. The kind of person who's going to leave a negative comment that's not constructive criticism, they have probably more bad stuff going on in their lives than you do. True. Same with like people that do podcasts called So Bad It's Good. But she goes, yeah, I love you. And he's like, love you too. It's a sweet scene, but this is what I'm talking about. Humanizing characters. Showing that these things actually make an impact, that it hurts, right? Whether you agree with this or not, that's what this is doing, is trying to humanize Janet after a season where she has said some or come off as pretty inhumane in scenes, right? But to remind people that this cast has been inhumane to each other a lot of the times, not just Janet, or at least that's how I took this. But Jason says, well, now I got you forever. And once again, I want to point out that the ups and downs of reality TV is that we had a similar scene with Luke and Kristen earlier where Luke's like, I'm always going to be here. I'm your forever honey bunny and all that shit. Is that Jason's kind of saying the same thing that Luke was saying to Kristen in a different way. Now, if only there could be some kind of path where these two couples could mend fences. I don't know. Anyways, Jason goes, hey, we're kind of like Pam and Tommy now. What? And then he goes, ha ha ha. And Janet's like, ha ha ha. And I'm like, ha ha ha. We cut to commercial. So now we have a scene between Doute and Nia where Nia's over at Doute's home and they're talking about Hawaii. And Doute's like, I hope we made a baby over there. Doute and Luke, not Doute and Nia. And she was like, yeah, I was ovulating. We tried really hard. And he's like, how's all that going, by the way? And Doute's like, nothing's happening yet. And he's like, maybe all it is just like, you need a little bit of help. Doute in the Talking Head says, it's been almost a year since Luke and I conceived and lost the baby, which we found out on the season finale of season 1 of The Valley. We flash back to 2 weeks ago where Doute is with Nia and a doctor, and Doute's saying, I just want to make sure we're doing everything right. And we know it works. Like, it worked once. So I'm just like, why? Why hasn't it happened? Why isn't it happening again? And the doctor says, I know the golden egg is coming up. Doute says, Luke and I are going to make amazing parents. It's what we both want. It's what we're living for. It's our dream, and it's what's in our future. Doute says, after meeting your doctor, Nia, and like knowing that my OB works with her, it kind of felt very serendipitous. All these doctors know each other. It is wild. Doute says, I don't feel as scared now, like moving forward and really talking about like, what can we do next? Nia's like, I can't wait to like meet your baby one day and have seen all these like beautiful stages of like who you are now and you with Luke and you guys getting engaged and then like baby. And Doute's like, are you guys trying or are you just not trying? And he's like, he fucked me in the doctor's office the other day. No, she goes, I don't know if trying. And Doute's like, well, what about the house? Well, that's the whole thing in Daniel's head, which I get, as like a man and like a provider. He wants us to be in a better place physically for having kids. I just feel like my heart kind of yearns for one more. So I'm very in the middle. But then the flip side of it is, which I feel like it's so opposite, is that it's either I want another kid or I want to make mommy makeover. And she almost feels ashamed. I want a mommy makeover. Don't look at me. I want to get a little lipo or a little something. And I don't think that how I feel physically should take away from if we want to expand our family or not. And Doute's like, you guys want to have another baby, then the makeover comes after the baby. Right? Thanks for letting me get that off my chest. I just don't feel like I get to talk about it to anybody really besides Daniel. And it's just like, and Doute's like, is Daniel like supportive of, even though obviously he's like, you don't need it, you don't need it. And he is like, he's over there with his washboard abs, like six pack, looking like a Greek god. Do we think Daniel looks like a Greek god? I don't know. But he is like, I try so hard. And he is like, I just don't want my boobs to hit my knees. And then I like Doute. Doute's like, I don't like the way you talk about my friends sometimes. You got to watch that. And Nia's like, I love you. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me over. It's so positive. I wish Nia could be in like season 2 of Vanderpump Rules. We would really, Nia's like, I've seen all the stages of Kristen Doute, right? So we end that scene and I'm like, okay, we should just end the episode here, right? We shouldn't have any other scenes in this episode. I feel good with this episode so far. But unfortunately we have another scene. It's at Brittany's house in Valley Village. It used to be Brittany and Jax's modern day farmhouse, but it's just Brittany's house now. And she's hugging Cruz in the living room. And she's like, Dad is coming over. Did you have a good nap, Cruz? And we see Cruz on the couch. And then, her nanny, Zuli, is that Zuli? We got to interview Zuli. Zuli's seen some shit. Zuli, this is her personal Vietnam working over this house. But Brittany's like, I just want Jax to see him for a minute, and then I'll have you take him to Sky Zone. And Jax walks in in khakis, a blue button-up tucked in with sunglasses, and Brittany's like, oh, there's Daddy Cruz. I will say also I was highly, not disturbed, but I was highly intrigued. I had to watch this scene a couple of times because I was so fixated. Brittany has her fridge open. She's wiping down the island. And I will tell you, it looks like it is a condiment farm in this fridge. I see every condiment. I see some Thousand Island dressing, some Cholula sauce, mustard, Chick-fil-A sauce, ketchup, another bottle of Cholula. And then we've got like all of the good drinks. We've got some marmalade jam, some Dole pineapple juice. I mean, this thing is stocked. Anyways, Jax comes in and immediately goes to Cruz and grabs him. Who's this guy? Who's got? Look at this crazy hair. Who's this guy? He just woke up from nap, Jax. And he's like, ha, stink. I don't know. It's cute. I'm tired. Brittany like, the only reason I'm agreeing to meet with Jax today is because we need to set boundaries and figure out how we're going to co-parent with Cruz. That's the only reason I even want to look at him right now. He keeps on with Cruz. Hey, stinky butt, what's going on? I heard you're going to Sky Zone. You going to Sky Zone? You going to Sky Zone? And Brittany's like, he is. And talking to that, Brittany goes, I'm nervous anytime I'll see Jackson and I have a conversation. I ought to do a shot because I have so much anger for everything he's put me through. And he's so angry at me for me having him go to rehab. And we flash back to the second episode of the season, the blow up, where Brittany's like, you scared me and you hurt me. You need help. You need help, Jax explodes. You need help. Even though he just came from the facility, that means nothing to me right now because I don't trust him. I mean, how am I supposed to trust this man after everything he's done to me over the past 10 years? And then Jax goes, hey, what's going on, Britt? What happened with Hawaii? And he's like kind of leaning over the island talking to her. And she's like, it was fun. We had a good time. I had shots. And he goes, that's it? I wasn't missed? Dude, already I wasn't missed. Dude, just don't mention anything involving you. That's a good rule of thumb. And Brittany goes, no? And he goes, nobody missed me at all? Come on. That's hard to believe. Look at me, Jax Taylor. And he's kind of smiling, like a flirty smile. Come on, nobody missed me. Hey, did your privates miss me, huh? And she goes, I mean, it would have been weirder if you were there. Zuli, you can take Cruz. Thank you. I'm about to have an argument with Jax. In a talking head, Jax goes, Brittany has the upper hand right now. So in my head, I'm just kind of just playing nice. Kind of just going along with whatever she wants. And then we see one of the wood signs that used to say, like, the Couchies, and it just says Cruz and Brittany. And then another wooden sign that says, hey, y'all. I want to give Brittany a sign that says Schwartz. Anyways, Brittany's like, Jax, do you want to go sit on the couch where there's actual air coming in? Jackson at Talking Head's like, I don't even want to get an actual attorney involved. Why can't we just go our separate ways, but still be friends? He is so hung up, do you notice, in so many times where he's like, why can't we be friends? It's always like, friends. Anyways, in the scene, he goes, looks like I've never even lived here. And Brittany's like, I know, that's the point. There's not a single photo of you anywhere. And Jax is smiling. He's like, why are you doing that? Well, why would I want to look at your face every day? And he's trying to be calm, and he has this creepy smile on his face. And he goes, just wipe away 10 years like that. No, you did. Pause. And he goes, okay, I don't care. He sits on his love sack couch. And she goes, okay, what do you want to know? And he goes, obviously, you want a divorce. And he goes, obviously, you want a divorce. Like, stupid. And she goes, yeah. And he goes, you're still good on that? Like, did you realize you fucked up majorly? You realize yet? Why would I not still be good on that? You have not done anything that I've wanted from you. I know. I wanted to make sure that was still okay. How many Xanax did you take before you came over here? Whoa. Xannied out? We dropped the Xanny word in front of the cameras. But I will say, Jax does seem tranquilized. He goes, I've never taken any. Don't even know what that word is. Xan who? Xan what? And she goes, okay, well, because you're not even acting like yourself. It's all right. You've already slandered me enough. Painting himself as the victim. You can't slander me anymore. I'm tough. I'm a man. I'm already on the ground waving the white flag. Oh, my God. Ugh. He goes, I'm not slandering you. I'm only saying things that are true. It's not slander whenever I'm speaking facts. Don't talk to me unless it's about Cruz. Cruz is not going over to your house anytime soon. And all of a sudden we see the mask slip and he's like, ugh. He's not. Because I don't trust that there are not nasty women there. You guys are smelling each other's butts. And he goes, there's none of that. Parties, yeah. And it's talking to Brittany goes, it's taken me a long time, but I am done protecting Jax. He did steal those glasses in Hawaii. I'm just like so done. I really thought he was going to change. I really thought I could be the person to change him. We flash back to the second episode, her going, Jax, you have the coke problem and everybody knows it. Own up to it. Be real with the doctors. And he goes, you've never done any cocaine? Any white powder? I'm not saying I never have. You are the one who has the addiction. Give me a drug test right now. I will pass. Will you? I'm not doing this anymore. In the Talking Head, she goes, I think after Jax got out of the facility, it took him less than 5 days to go back to the bars and start partying again. It's just so disappointing. Like, he did not take anything seriously. And then we flash back to another scene that happened days ago where they look like they're in Brittany's bedroom. And he's like, you've been at Jackson's saloon every day the last 5 nights since you got out of rehab. People have already told me that you've been telling them to make it look like you're drinking water, but really you're drinking vodka on the rocks. And Jackson's like, I'm allowed to drink. It's in the rule book. I didn't go to a mental health for not drinking. Everybody's like, okay, but you've been trying to act like you're not drinking. And also, if you are on antipsychotics of any sort, I would imagine drinking is not good for that, right? But she goes, you're acting like you're not drinking. I know for a fact you are. The producer in the Talking Head goes, why did you feel the need to protect him for so long? I don't know why. I don't want him to get in trouble, or I didn't want, if he's not saying it, like, how am I supposed to be the one saying it? I tried. And at least I know that. I really love that man. I really try to make him a better person. Like, how do you continue to be there for somebody who will not change for you or your son? In the scene, she tells him, it disgusts me. You're so gross. You're so gross, Jackson Taylor. Nailed him with that one. We cut to break, and I'm like, okay, done with that scene. We're done. We're good. We did that. That was intense. But we got what we needed. Uh-oh, we're back from commercial. We're back in that scene. Oh, no. Cruz is not going over to your house anytime soon. He's not. Because I don't trust there are nasty women over there. It disgusts me. You're so gross. And he goes, all right, I'm good. And he stands up and she goes, okay, bye. I just came over to get some boundaries for Cruz. Had to do in-person boundaries, like boundaries where we shouldn't see each other, but I'm coming over to do it. Like those kind of boundaries. Like, what do you want? What you want me to do? I'm just talking. You're acting completely different than the way that you've been texting me, right? Once again, because he's been texting her so aggressively, and then he comes in like, oh, cool guy. Hey, was I miss in old Hawaii? And then talking to Jack goes, I'm here to be a dad, and I'm good at it. Some say I'm the best dad in the world, and I enjoy it. Makes me happy. It's a full-time job. He's actually medicine for me. You know what's actually also medicine for you? Medicine! He actually makes me want to be a better person. I stole that line from As Good As It Gets, Jack Nicholson. And I don't think she should hold her anger over me, using that as a weapon not to see my son. Pay attention to the verbiage. It is so that certain type of men, like that weaponizing. That's just not fair. And then in the scene, he goes, you're a narcissist, so you don't actually feel love. And she's starting to cry. You don't feel pain. You don't feel hurt like I do. I do. So we are different people. I'm going through a lot more than what you're going through right now because I actually care. You don't see me. You don't see what I'm going through at home. I'm trying to hang these big pictures and I've got boxes of stuff I'm unpacking. It's hard. I have to live next to Schwartz. And he goes, it's 10 years of my life. It's a decade. I love that line. It's 10 years of my life. It's a decade, which I was like, holy shit, this man knows what a decade is. You could throw that away, Brittany, but I can't. And Brittany's like, do you think I've thrown it away? I tried to make this work for 10 years, a decade with you, Jax. You could have went on your bipolar medication years ago. Years. But you didn't. I begged you to go to therapy. I begged you. And he goes, well, I'm doing it now. I begged you to do all these things. I'm doing it now. But now it's too late. I know that. You already ruined our family. Okay. I didn't come over here to argue and fight. I came here to get the password to the cameras that we've installed. No, he goes, I came over here to set some boundaries and asking you what you want from me. I told you my boundaries. I will handle everything. And I will send you a bill for your half of all the doctor's bills. And then he goes, okay, but then you don't get full custody. What the fuck, Jack? Just say yes and thank you for taking such good care of our son. And she goes, no, I'm getting full custody. That's your child support. No, I'm not paying bills. You are going to pay me for half. And then Jack says, you make more so that I don't go after your alimony. So this is what scares me also about Jax leaving the valley, is now Brittany will definitely make more than Jax. And Jax is going to find a way to weasel out of these bills for his son. Like, let's be real. We are seeing him, this argument right here. You make more than me. But he goes, oh, I'm going to go after your alimony. And she's like, no, Jax. And he's walking towards his door. And Brittany's like, half of his medical bills is all I want. That's not asking too much. You're not going to get full custody and ask me to pay bills. And she's like, what do you think child support is? First of all, you make more than I do. You think I can do Jenny Craig ads? It's 50-50 state. My God. He's starting to really yell now. And she's like, so you're going to go after alimony for me. And I'm going to have to pay for all of Cruz's bills. And he's just shaking his head, yes. And he goes, God, why are you trying to destroy the father of your son? I'm not. You are. Why? Why are you doing this? I love that. Why are you doing this? Not why have I done this? I'm trying to understand why I have done this. I'm not going to take up for you anymore. Those days are gone and over. I will be doing solo shorts. Now his head is in his hands and he's like, every time I come over, you act so mean to me. You discard me. I cannot let Cruz be anything like you. Ooh. And you should feel the same way. Ooh. He's like, this arguing and this yelling has to stop. We can't do this. That's why I wanted Cruz out of the house, because I knew this would happen. I am so disgusted and so mad with you. What do I have to do? You don't deserve my friendship. You don't deserve it at all. Talking to Eddie goes, every time we fight, we get 2 steps forward and then 20 steps back, as the great Paula Abdul says. I love my kid more than anything. I'm fighting for him. But I just don't know how much more of this arguing and this bickering and just going after each other I can take. Oh, it's too much for him. So we see Jack sigh in the scene. Brittany's wiping away tears in the kitchen island. And once again, he goes, I just don't throw away 10 years like you do. It's like he came in with the 10-year argument and he keeps repeating it over and over again. I just can't do that. She goes, stop saying that. It hurts me that you would even say that. I'm the one that threw away. Because I'm not. I'm not saying you threw away. What I'm trying to say is that you can get over it like that. I am not over anything, obviously. A song starts playing in the background. Is this all that we've got? 2 skeletons showing the world what we're not. And it's talking to Brittany goes, nobody wants Jax to get better more than me. I want to say I have hope for him, but he's let me down again and again and again for years. I don't have any faith or trust in him anymore. Like, that's gone. In the scene, Jack says, I'm a piece of shit human being. I get it. Brittany goes, I can just barely even look at you. Why? Because I need LASIK. No, she goes, because I just can't. I can't. The only thing that gives me a little bit of hope for Brittany is just knowing how many condiments she has in her fridge. I love condiments. So I haven't had ketchup, you guys, in months now because of this health journey. Anyways, not about me. The song keeps going and goes, blood in the water, blood in the cuts. Jack slams the door behind him. Brittany wipes away her tears. And then I hear what I've been waiting to hear for months now. Next time on the season finale of The Valley. We see Jesse talking to Michelle. Whatever power I have left, I give it to you. I bequeath it to you, Michelle, to do whatever you want with it because I'm just so tired. So we have these beaten down men. It's a theme. Then we have Doute saying infertility was the word over and over. We just got pregnant less than a year ago. She's talking to Brittany. Then we see all of the cast together for a party, a finale party. And Michelle's like, thank you everyone for coming to my Zen party. If Jesse and I can get along, then I think everyone can get along. And then we hear Jax yelling at Danny and Nia going, you think you're living in some fairy tale world where you're like, this is Miss America. And then Nia's like, wrong pageant. That's not Miss USA. And then Janet talking to Doute going, you have hurt me. And Doute saying, what you did last summer fucked me. And then we see Zach go, I needed your help, Brittany. And she goes, of course. And then Zach fully screams, that's all I want. Ugh. And that's it. Finally, you guys, the finale next week. Okay, we got through it. Not the funnest episode, but I hope we were able to, I don't know, we got through it. Okay, let's, as we end tonight, let's go to the old Twitter. I don't really go on Twitter anymore, but I go on it for my favorite account, Justice for Jax Taylor. Justice for Jax Taylor, let's see what they have, let's see they post. 2 hours ago, they tag Zach and the rest of the cast members. Justice for Jax Taylor on Twitter writes, I've never had the pleasure of dining at Jax's Studio City, but I'm somehow always craving it. Okay, that's fuck it. This is a completely parody account. I'm always craving it. The Jax's salad pie is incredibly unique and sounds delicious. Add fire chef and menu creator to Mr. Jax Taylor's resume. Hashtag Jax of all trades. Hashtag Justice for Jax. Hashtag The Valley. And they found a copy of the menu and they circled Jax's salad pie. Fresh tossed house salad served on top of a fresh baked cheeseless tomato pie. The menu. This looks like a new menu. This is parody. There's no way this is real. Here's another one 4 hours ago, Justice for Jax Taylor. The look on Mr. Jax Taylor's face when he told Tom Kristen is engaged was nothing but pure joy and ecstasy. I watched that episode. I think he was happy, but I didn't see ecstasy. That man had a boyish twinkle in his eye. It's incredibly reassuring to witness Jax be so selfless about their engagement when his marriage is falling apart. Here's one from 7 hours ago. I'm neither here nor there on Brock. However, he has the legs of a rickshaw. I am neither here nor there on Brock. However, he has the legs of a rickshaw puller. They have fantastic girth. I'm curious if that was his career back in Australia. I'm telling you. Okay, now I'm positive this is parody. There's just no way. 10 hours ago, I hope you're on guard, Jesse Lally. It's only a matter of time before the Bravo vultures take you out. I give it 2 more seasons. Call me if you need me. 12 hours ago, happy for everyone celebrating this, and it was in regards to Jax Taylor stepping away. Congrats. Now we can look forward to a heavily produced show with fake storylines, or as Scheana said, completely scripted. Reality stars have become too terrified of the viewer to be real and authentic. Oh, justice for Jax Taylor. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay, you guys, that's enough. This is enough torture and pain. Okay, if you like the show, leave it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'll be doing a Valley After Show recap on the Patreon this weekend. And I think it's Friday. No, tomorrow. Today's Thursday. So have a great Thursday. Friday's right around the corner. We'll do an OC recap. We got tons of great stuff coming up. So always come back. Even if you don't like an episode, there's always something coming around the corner that I think you might be interested in. Have a great Thursday. Pray for me and pray for Jax Taylor.